Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
And we're moving to RC's conference, the ACC, where tonight Miami got a huge win at home. This was a game that a lot of people liked Clemson. And RC, I have a very vivid memory of you and I at a casino years ago where you kept telling me Miami is a team you're going to want to bet on. My friend, I kept hearing that play in my head as I was on the BetMGM app all day today, looking at this as a pick 'em. Miami wins 95-82. How about these Hurricanes, man? No Wooga Poplar, and they just get it done. They poured it on tonight.
They did. They was an offensive juggernaut tonight without Wooga Poplar. I was shocked that it was going to be that easy with Clemson. Clemson usually plays better defense than they did tonight. And credit to Nigel Pack. He got it going. He punished that drop coverage. He shot mid-range. He shot his threes. He got off tonight, got him going. Road games are hard to win. I'm still high on Clemson, but there's some things I think they got to shore up and get healthy. And I was just really more impressed with Miami on the offensive end of the floor than I was Clemson's effort on the defensive end of the floor.
Jeff, what'd you see?
So I like this Miami team, and I was shocked, when they were blown out by Kentucky and Colorado. I was shocked because I was like, all right, they got 5 dudes here who have kind of been through it. I love the addition of Matthew Cleveland. And, their bench is their bench. It hadn't been a whole lot. But when you bring in George now, and he seems to now, and I think he always had the confidence. That wasn't lacking. I just didn't think he had great feel for time and score earlier in the year. And I think now he's starting to get that a little bit. And he was able to get in there and give them a threat, a scoring threat that, Poplar's probably their most talented overall player. But I think he was able to help. Matthew Cleveland's been great. Bensley Joseph was terrific on both ends of the court tonight. And as RC said, like Nigel Pack was awesome in the second half when they pulled away. This is a huge win for Miami because if you lose this one, obviously there's more opportunities. We know that. You still have Duke and Carolina in the league. But it just shrinks down those opportunities because the ACC, contrary to what RC thinks, is kind of a mid-major league again right now.
Well, I'm not going with that mid-major stuff. I'm not going with it. But I will agree with you on this. It's just going off the rankings and the net rankings, right, wrong, or however you feel about them. That's the reality of what the league is dealing with. Like when you see Clemson on your schedule and Duke and Carolina, you got to go at it like this is your season because the rest of the league, you're just beating up on each other. At the end of the year, you're going to fall into the same problems you had year before of just quad one wins, what they say they're not going to be. And then you're going to look up and be like, oh, it's going to be mid-February. And you're going to be like, oh, we got one quad one win or no quad one wins. And some of the teams just had, and if you're one of these teams that didn't play a strong non-conference schedule, you're in trouble.
Well, Miami, look at it. Miami's net was 53. Ken Palm, they were 55. Not one team other than Clemson, North Carolina, and Duke. There's not one team in the league that was really in the top 50, like clearly in the top 50 in the net or Ken Palm going into tonight. So, like you said, RC, there's not a lot there in terms of big resume wins unless you knock off one of these 3 teams. And I think Clemson will stay there. It's going to be interesting to see because Clemson obviously fell off last year, right? We were talking about them last year at this time like they were a lock NCAA tournament team, and then they ended up not making it.
I think this team is different because I think they got more weapons. The concern I have with Miami is how do you play when you're not playing this well offensively, when your shots aren't falling as well? Because I don't think this team is as strong defensively as they've been. Now, if they can be this consistent offensively, then look out because they don't have a bench. They're going to go 6 deep. And we're just coming off Christmas break. You're feeling fresh. Let's see where Miami is in a month or so depth-wise. Will they develop? Because I think they're going to need to develop a bench. I think their 5 is as good as there is in the country. But when you start going 6 through 10, they hadn't played many guys from that bench, and that's something they're going to have to do. But their front five all those guys can torch you any night, and they did today. They torched Clemson tonight.
I love your point about depth, RC. I think for Miami, they need to stay healthy. Clearly, they need to get Wooga back. Also, they have to stay out of foul trouble on an individual game-by-game basis when they've only got 5-6 guys. Norchad in their 2 losses, those were the 2 games he had foul trouble. I mean, he fouled out both Colorado and Kentucky. So tonight, 31 minutes from him, I thought he was spectacular. He's so important to them. And I think there's a particular team that these 2 fine gentlemen may have left out of the top tier that deserves to be in the top tier. In fact, I think they're the team that's going to win this conference, and I have just the place to make such a bold prediction. Vaulted is an app that allows you to participate in daily cash prize pools without an entry fee. It is the place for you to store your own predictions forever, and by using the Vaulted Challenge feature, you can prove you're smarter than your friends. Go download the Vaulted app. It's spelled VLTED to challenge your friends, store your predictions, and join daily cash prize pools without an entry fee. My Vaulted challenge for RC and for Jeff, I think Miami is going to win the ACC. That's my prediction. And these 2 who are trying to tell me they're in tier 2, sitting here at 2-0 in conference play, 11-2 overall, don't belong in the conversation. Gentlemen, mind you, the team that was in the Final Four last season doesn't belong in the conversation with Duke and with North Carolina. Fellas, I heard of Clemson in tier 1 and not of Miami, the team they beat tonight. We're going to have to talk about this one. Just rapid fire for me, RC. Are you fading or are you buying what I'm selling you with the Vaulted app here? Miami can win the ACC.
My biggest concern, it isn't their starting 5. It's just depth, and they're a perimeter-oriented team. They're not as good defensively. Like, listen, when they're making shots, they can beat anybody. Like, this is the type of team that can get in a march. And the way they're good enough offensively to make another run to the Elite 8. They're that skilled offensively. The problem is defensively, they still hadn't figured it out yet. So if they've lost a lot from a year ago. I think people talk about Isaiah Wong. I actually had my vote was going to vote for Jordan Miller as player of the year. They're missing 2 player of the year caliber guys. This team is loaded with talent offensively, but still there's not much rim protection. And they're not quite as what they were a year ago on the defensive end of the floor. If they can develop a bench and just get a couple of more guys, get 8 to 9 deep, then I'm all for it. I think they're talented enough that they can win the league. But right now, foul trouble and depth of their bench just concerns me a little bit. Long term, I think they're fine for right now, but let's talk about it when we get deep in the February and see where they are then.
Jeff, just make me a deal on this. If they go on the road to Wake Forest and win that game this Saturday, they get to be in your tier 1.
Hell no. That doesn't do it for me. You got to beat Duke. Duke and Carolina are in that upper tier to me. Clemson is right behind with Miami, and then to me, Wake is a half step behind that tier. Virginia is somewhere in the middle there of tier 2 and 3. I don't know where to put them yet, but they're somewhere in that mix as well. I don't know if I put them in Miami, Clemson, or I put them closer to Wake.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.